So I want to do a year in review. Actually, maybe go back a little further in here. But anyways, we'll talk about the whole series when I started the videos and that. I first started doing it for documenting it myself and things with the car when I was doing it and learning myself. But when I started enjoying it and thinking about the two hobbies I have, the car, which is my big hobby, but videoing and editing is always a technology I've always been interested in as my hobby too. So the idea of doing these videos was to actually put the two together, and on days like today where the weather's crap, and you work on editing and upload those, so I still get to see the car some more. So that's how it all started. But realistically, what really got me going with a car was when I was 16 years old, on this picture, where I saw the car for the first time, heard it, all that, and then all the bells and whistles went off for me. The whole first video about how and why we bought the car, goes into a lot more depth about the cars that I had. Showing the cars you had and talking about people, you can kind of get to know what they're like by the cars they had, and that was part of the reason I put the history of my cars on there, which also led to the replicas that I was looking at, and what was on my list before I found the one that we ended up buying. All that wasn't so rosy for the car. I knew there were some issues with it. I knew there was some trouble with the transmission, and we got a couple of years out of it before it actually went. But the previous owner had starved the transaxle of oil, which is something a transmission needs, and it's basically finally let go. I kept it topped off for as long as I could, and one fall, I always say at the end of the year is when I like, if you're going to break the car, break it in the fall, because you got all winter to fix it. So anyways, it was just that. I was going to actually the last show of the year, my daughter with me in the car, launched it out of a driveway, and sure enough, it let go. It was the whole input shaft, I think, broke on it. So, but that was a two-year ordeal getting that fixed, and a lot of people don't know that, but there's 2 years that the car was actually just sitting on the lift and not going anywhere. And that was because there's, it's a custom-built transaxle. It's not something you can buy off the shelf. There's one guy that built it, knows it, and he's the guy that can fix it. So it was either wait for him to fix it, or find something new and put a new drive line all together in there. And at the time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that or not, but I was starting to think that way. But just when all hopes were gone, in came the transaxle, and away we went, putting it back together. The going back together wasn't as easy as you would think. I remember back in okay, but the clutch was, had it out, might as well replace it. Now, there was a lot of testing, as you see here, I was backing up the car, taking it out for the first time, woohoo, and the clutch is slipping, and not going into gear, and coming out of gear. And so there was lots of fine tuning that I had to do with that clutch, and it just was not enough clearance. And during the summer, I do a lot of driving with the cars and just going on with the cars, driving videos and things like that. And in the spring, once we got it all figured out, actually, you see here, I took it out in the snow. It's just a freak snowstorm, I think it was, in the spring, and it was warm weather before and after, so it was one of those fluke things. So it wasn't much snow, though, really wasn't. With the car, there's always repairs. I often call a kit car, the definition of a kit car is an amalgamation of parts that weren't necessarily meant to work together. And, that means there's always repairs to do. There's always things that you have to watch for and be mindful of. And I'm not a mechanic. I just, know when something's not feeling the same as it was when I got it, or something could be better, I start the hunt and try to figure it out and monitor it a little more closely. So the lift, that's easier to do, but there's always something that needs repair. Wife's been driving a lot more this year. I think the Heels and Wheels video was one of the first ones I shot with her in it, and it was funny watching that video go up and the views on it. It outpaced any of the other videos that I had for a long time, and I thought it was just going to keep on going, but it didn't. It leveled off. And, but anyways, it was interesting just to see. So not sure what's up with the Heels and Wheels, and I guess everybody'd rather look at a girl driving it than me, but yeah, I can understand that. Also driving with the son, that's always fun. Yeah, we have our whole family. We have that banter going on where it's it sounds like a yelling match all the time, but it's just the thing we do. You know, we all kind of found it fun to try and aggravate each other and poke each other and try to make something out of nothing. You know, it's just part of our things. You know, things like driving with my son here that day. Actually, we had a couple of issues during that week where I was going to something or going to do something, and I picked the wrong day, or it got canceled or whatever. So, it was those things are odd how it happens sometimes. But like I said, we have this crazy banter between all of us, and that.
Turning radius, this thing doesn't have a lot of.
Backing up the car is still something that's you got to get used to. When you're in and out of other cars and you get into this one, as you can see, backing up can still sometimes be a problem.
Keep forgetting. Putting it in reverse in the seat. Backing up, out of the seat.
Also shot some heel and toe in the car this year, which is something I love doing in the Camaro. Do it every day, and once you've gotten used to it, it makes driving a lot more fun. It's just more entertaining. Listen to the car. The Camaro's got the exhaust off, and so I've only just started doing heel and toe in the Lambo, only because it is, it's that comfort level thing, getting more comfortable with it, and the footwork down in the Countach is tight, so it makes it a little more challenging. And some of those events that we went to are pretty fun. Didn't realize it was going to scare kids, but had a few comments this year where everybody's saying the car's really loud, and I guess it is because it's straight pipes, no cats on it, and it's an LT1 in there, so there's not many LT1s that you hear out there that are they're born emission compliant, and it's been stripped of all of it. So it does sound quite unique. Doesn't sound like a V12, but you get what you get, right? Best you can do. Did some night driving. Wow, I guess you should say morning driving this year. That was interesting. Haven't been out in the dark. Probably only coming back from a show one other time. I think that was only the second time ever out in the dark with a car. All went well.
Hopefully that doesn't pose any challenges.
There was a great event at the end of the year where we met with some of the guys from Kit Central, Mad Mechanics, and some of the other like Lambo forums and Lambo Clone and some of the other forums. Saw some of the other cars out there. That was really great, and I've been meaning to do that, but haven't had a chance to do it, or hasn't worked out in previous years, but it finally did this year. And that was great. Really good meeting everybody, and looking forward to doing that again next year. We also did a video on what cars, kit cars I would have built. The Factory 5 GTM, or it would lead in towards more of that noble Ultima GTR. That one for me was, I think, the one I would have done. But it was also good to show everybody what these kits are like. Some of them, like mine, they basically come with nothing. You just get the body shell and you build everything else yourself, like a Countach, which unfortunately you can't really get those anymore. But with the other kits out there, like Factory 5's doing and Noble's doing over in the UK, you can get those kits, and they come with a fully manual on how to do it. You'll see after the closing remarks in the videos that I often put the bloopers or events from the week around the house for the kids or myself or whatever. Usually other cars we're working on, but sometimes it's things that I just stumbled across that are odd or funny. But I'll carry on doing those, as things come across as things happen every week. And with, as usual, carry on. That was a great year with the car. Really happy with how everything went. And I enjoyed doing the videoing in that. I was upgraded to, I finally got a mic and getting more cameras and accessories and editing, and so it's all building what I want to do, and I can combine the two hobbies even more. So look for more next year, more driving, more fixing for now because it's winter, but thanks for everybody for liking, subscribing, and commenting. Love the comments and helping people out or answering questions that you have on the car, and we'll carry on doing that for another year. Thanks. See you next year.
Yeah, tried to turn it off.
A minute ago trying to get him to move. There you go.
Where did I say to go from here?
You didn't.
Okay, I guess I figured I'd know where I was.
Well, you gotta go some way. So it's gotta be this way. It's the
Well,
only
it's
way
gotta
you
be
can't
that
go.
way. Why is there a stop sign?
I don't know, but you ran it.
I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's all in your name.
One survived.